Hello, my name is Sally Pinto, and I'm the Program Director for the Yonkers Newark Neighborhood Naturally Occurring Retirement Community. We serve seniors 60 plus in Northeast Yonkers. We are under the auspices of WJCS and the Yonkers Office for the Aging. We also have a resource specialist and a nurse on staff. We conduct virtual programming in partnership with the Yonkers Public Library on a daily basis. Enjoy the program.
Sally, good morning, everyone. We're going to get right into it today, starting with our warm-up. Just make sure you have your chair, water, or whatever you're drinking there to stay hydrated, and an optional pair of weights, water bottles, or anything of equal weight, about 5 pounds or under, okay? All right, so let's go ahead, whether you're standing or seated, we're going to go ahead and stand or sit nice and tall. We're going to do our chin tucks. We're going to do 10 chin tucks. Remember, it's a very small movement. I'm going to do it from the side so you can see how small the movement is. We've got 10 of them. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Uh-oh. Sorry about that, guys. Somehow my phone is linked to my iPad. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do here is 5 shoulder rolls back and then 5 forward. Here we go. We're going to go back first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're going to do that again, but this time, if you want, you can take your arms out wide, and if that's uncomfortable, keep them down. Okay, here we go. Back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. All right, we're going to do 10 cat-cows. If you're seated, come to the edge of your chair, nice and tall, hands on knees. Okay, and you're going to arch and tuck, and then lift your heart to ceiling. Okay, you can do this standing too. You're just going to place your hands on your knees. Arch and tuck, and then heart to ceiling. Look up. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so from here, last part of our upper body warm-up here is just our neck turns, 5 per side. We're gonna look one direction, center, other direction, center. Here we go. Nice and tall, look one direction, bring it back to center, and then the other direction, center. 3, center, 4, center. 5, center, 6, center. 7, center. 8, center. 9, center, and 10, center. Okay, part B of our warm-up is going to be full body warm-up. Okay, I'm going to show you a seated variation and a standing variation. It's our 4-count cherry picker. So if you're seated, you're on the edge of your seat, you're sitting up tall, your feet are wider than your shoulders, and this is where we reach out, middle, in, and then sit back up. Okay, so you can do this from a seated position, feet are wider, or you can do this from a standing position, feet are still wider, and you're just out, middle, in, up. We've got 5 just like that, okay? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, begin. Out, middle, in, up, out, middle, in, 2, out, middle, in, 3, out, middle, in, 4, and out, middle, in, and 5. Good. Okay, so what we're going to do next is our 4 count chain breakers. You can do these seated or standing. This is where we're going to pull apart for 3, and then on 4, we open our arms straight and back. Okay, here we go. Ready? Begin. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. 2, 1, 2, 3. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 5. Good. Next thing we're going to do is 4 hip circles in one direction and 4 the other. So if you're standing, your feet are wide and you're just kind of almost like you're hula hooping 4 in one direction. Okay. So those hips come out and then back and around. Okay. And if you're seated, it looks slightly different. You're still sitting up nice and tall, but it's more, you're going to feel more that upper body stirring the pot here. Okay. So whichever option works for you is fine. Here we go. 4 one direction, 4 the other. Ready? Begin. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Other way. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's do that again. Other way. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Other direction. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. Okay, our last one here is going to be 4 L-flies. Okay, seated or standing. This is where we're working on the back of the shoulder, pulling apart. Okay, we're going to do 4 like this, and then we're going to do 4 external rotations after that. We're going to go for 3 rounds on that. Okay, so here we go. Whether you're seated or standing, sitting up or standing nice and tall, we're going to go ahead and pull back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now externally rotate. We're going to drop those palms down and back up. 2, 3, and 4. Back to those goal posts here. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and bring them together and then squeeze, pull back, squeeze the shoulder blades together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now those external rotations. So we're going to bring the palms down and then back up. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have one more round. Here we go. L-flies. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now the external rotations. Palms down and up. 2, 3, and 4. Good. All right. So from here, we're going to get into our first, that's our warm-up. Okay, we're going to get into our first working set. And we're going to do 30 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest for 3 rounds. There's 3 exercises, okay, and it's going to be 6 minutes long. If the 30 seconds is too much work, please, you work at your own pace. You do not have to go at the same speed as me. You can go faster or slower, depending on your comfort and ability, okay? And if you need to rest before that 30 seconds is up, please do so, okay? All right, so we're going to do sit to stand or squats, okay? So we're going to drive it up and down. If you'd like to hold dumbbells for this, you can, okay? You can kind of do one of these right here. All right, you can kind of sit it down, okay? So you've got an option with the dumbbell there. You don't need to use, you could even just keep the dumbbells down at your side too, okay? Sit to stand. Then we're going to go ahead and do whether you want to stand or sit for this next one. We're going to do single, single, double, press. Single, single, double, press, okay? If you don't have weights, you're going to do this without the weights. Keep your knuckles facing the sides, okay? And then our last one is our bent over row. You can do these either seated or standing. If you're seated, you're on the edge of your seat and you're bending over. We're keeping those elbows close to the body, okay? And we're pulling up, okay? Knuckles stay out to the side. You can do this without weights too. If you're standing, you can go ahead and just bend over and do it from a standing position, okay? All right, so time is going on the clock. We're going to start with our sit to stand. Let's get ready. In 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Okay, so we're gonna sit it down, stand up. Okay, I want you to think of pressing through the heels of your feet as you're standing up. Go at a pace that's comfortable for you. All right. This is not about speed and how many you can get in. It's about just doing it with good control and quality, okay? 2, and 1. Okay, next we're gonna go into our single, double press. You can do this seated or standing and with or without weights of your choice, okay? Here we go. Core is tight, whether you're seated or standing. Single, double. Single, double. Single, double. Make sure if you're standing, you're squeezing your glutes. Single, double. Single, double. Single, double. Single, double. Time. Okay, we're gonna rest. We're going into our bent over rows next. Okay, you can do this seated at the edge of your chair, bending over. I'm gonna do it standing and show you from the side view, okay? Here we go. We're gonna pull. If you don't have weights, you're just thinking of engaging your back muscles. Your back are the prime movers in this exercise. The arms are actually secondary. So think of your back muscles kind of like right behind your rib cage there, are the prime movers in this exercise. Keeping those elbows close to the body. 2, and 1. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the top. This is round 2, so we're starting with our sit to stand. Remember, I forgot to say this, I apologize. You can always just hover off the chair a little bit here, if that's better. Here we go. Ready? And sit it down. Drive up through the heels, squeeze the glutes, okay? Like you're pressing the floor down with your heels as you stand up. Go at a pace that's comfortable for you. It's not about the speed, it's about the quality. And time. Okay, we're gonna get ready for our single, double presses next. I'm gonna do this one seated. You can do it standing if you want. Either way, just make sure you're nice and tall through that spine. Here we go. Single, double. Okay, single, double. Single, double. Single, double. Single, double. Single, double. Single, double. Okay, there's time. We're gonna do our bent over row next. Okay, remember you can do this seated, all right, at the edge of your chair, all right? And in fact, this round I'll show you seated. Okay, here we go, we're on. I'll show you from the side. All right, so elbows stay close to the rib cage. This is what it looks like from a seated position. I'm thinking about my back muscles right now. I'm telling them to contract as I pull my elbows back. All right, time there. We're gonna do one more round through of these 3 exercises, starting with our sit to stand. Here we go, or the hover. In 3, 2, and 1. And sit it down. Drive it up, squeeze the glutes. Press through those heels. It's use it or lose it, right? We want to be able to get up and down out of our chair with ease. So we have to make sure we can do that continually to make sure we don't lose that ability, okay? And time, okay. We're all done with those. We're gonna go into our single, double presses next, okay? You can do these seated or standing in 3, 2, and 1. Single, double. Single, double. Single, double. single, single, double. Single, single, double. Single, single, double. A few more seconds. Single, single, double, and time. Okay, next we have our bent over rows. All right, and then we're gonna move on. Okay, last round of bent over rows, seated or standing. Here we go. And begin. So just pull back. Talk to your back muscles. Okay, elbows stay close to the rib cage. All right, they're not flared out. Five more seconds here. 2 and 1. Okay, guys, little rest here. We're gonna go into a Tabata next. So it's gonna be 2 exercises. It's gonna be 4 minutes long, 2 exercises, 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds rest or transition time. I'm gonna show you our seated and standing options. So our first move is from a seated position. I'm on the edge of my chair. It's an alternating knee and pull down. Okay. So I'm exhaling right here, right? Exhale, exhale, exhale. Okay, and I got a little, there's a little bit of rotation. It's core work here. Okay, we're working on our legs, we're working on our back. Standing position. Okay, a little more challenging because you're involving that balance on that single leg. You choose which one's good for you. After 20 seconds of that, our next one is a butt kicker with a pull back. Okay, so like a high row, like when we're doing our rowboat, right? So it's kick. All right, so I'm trying to get that heel up towards my butt, right? Kick, 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 kick. Okay. And if you're doing that one from a seated position, again, you're on the edge of the chair, so you have some room here. You're gonna tap back, your toe is gonna tap the ground behind you, and you're still gonna maintain the same rowing position with the arms for the upper body, okay? All right, so 4 minutes long, alternating 4 rounds between those 2 exercises. We're starting with our alternating knee and pull down. I'll do the first one seated, and then I'm gonna switch to standing, okay? Here we go in 3, 2, 1, here we go. 20 seconds on the clock. Exhale, exhale. Nice, getting all the joints moving with this exercise. We're gonna bring up the internal temperature of the body. 2 and 1, good. Rest, we're going into our butt kicker and our high row next. Okay, so like we're rowing a boat here. I'm seated, so I'm gonna tap my foot back. Here we go. We'll do these standing as well. So now my knuckles are facing the ceiling. I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together and I'm alternating that tap. And I'm feeling my arms already. 2 and 1, okay. Round 2, we have 4 rounds to go through this. So now we're going back to our knee raise and our pull down. Ready? Begin. Here we go. You can do these seated, just like I did in the first round. Is anyone else feeling their arms? My arms are tired. Enjoy the burn. It's okay if it burns a little bit, as long as it's not pain. And rest. Shake those arms out because we're going into our butt kicker and our high row next. Okay, I'm gonna do this one standing in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. So remember, if you're seated, you're on the edge of your seat, so you have room to tap that foot back. And time. Okay, that's 2 rounds down. We're moving on to round 3. Okay, we're going back to that high knee raise, that alternating high knee raise with that pull down. 2 and 1. Here we go. 2, and 1, okay? Rest, shake those arms out. We're going back to that butt kicker with that high row, okay, like the row in the boat. And begin. For the last round, we'll go back to seated again. You can remain standing if that's better for you. Don't need to do what I'm doing unless that works better for you, okay? You pick if seated or standing is your better preference. 2, and time. Okay, we have one more round through. Like I said, I'm gonna just go back to seated just for that visual. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. High knee and pull down. I'm on the edge of my seat here. So room to get those legs moving. 2, and 1. Okay, going back to those butt kickbacks and high rows. Okay, so I've got space at the here as I tap my foot back. Begin. Tap, tap. So I'm on the edge of my seat, so I can actually have room to pull that foot back and tap it behind, like underneath my thigh, right? Squeeze those back muscles together. It's like a good posture. And time. Good. All right. 4-minute block done. We're moving on. We're going back to another 30-10 for 6 minutes. Okay. 3 exercises again. Weights are an option. Okay. Grab some water bottles, anything, like I said. And go ahead and get a drink here if you need one. Okay. We are going to go into a lateral raise. You can hold dumbbells here, or you can just do it body weight, okay? Also, if you're doing a body weight and it does not bother your shoulders, you may prefer to go out a little bit longer with your arms because it does increase the challenge. This, at a shorter lever length, is a little bit easier than this, okay? So if you don't have dumbbells and it does not affect your shoulder, consider going straight out, okay? If you have dumbbells, let's stay in that L, all right? Seated or standing, it's gonna be the same. The next 30 seconds is going to be our tricep kickback. So just like our bent over row, whether you're standing or seated, you're just kind of bent forward here, elbows tight to the rib cage, kick back, kick back. Okay, and we're talking to the back of the arm there. We're saying squeeze, whether you have weights in your hand or not. Okay, and then our third one, bicep curls, the front of the arm. Okay, so shoulders and arms here in this block. So let's go ahead. If you have dumbbells, go ahead and use them. I'll do the first round seated. Here we go. We're going to start with our bent elbow lateral raise, or if you're body weight here and you want to go a full arm raise out, you can. Here we go in 3, 2, and 1. Begin. All right, I'm working the top of the shoulder here. I'm staying nice and tall through my spine, okay? Remember those marionette strings, all right? Really tall posture here. Feel the space in between the vertebrae, all right? Working the top of the shoulder. We've got 3 rounds of these 3 exercises. 2, and 1. Good. Next, we're gonna go into our tricep kickbacks, okay? So I'm just gonna turn to the side so you can see me from that side view. Okay, I'm gonna bend forward, tuck the elbows, and kick back. I'm talking to the back of my arm. When my arm's extended straight, I'm just telling those muscles squeeze. Even if you don't feel it that much, that doesn't mean you should stop talking to them. Okay, it takes time to develop the mind-muscle connection. It doesn't happen without the repetitiveness of it. Okay, you have to keep on showing up. All right, time. The last one here is our bicep curls. And same idea with the bicep curls. You're going to tell those biceps to squeeze, even if you don't feel that contraction too much. Continue connecting your mind to the muscle. Here we go. Squeeze, right? So when those knuckles come up towards the shoulders, that's when that muscle is contracted. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're going back to the top. This time I'm going to go to standing. You may remain seated if that's better for you. Going back to our bent elbow lateral raise. If you have dumbbells and if your body weight, you can go to a straight arm here as long as it doesn't irritate your shoulders. All right, so we're working the top of the shoulder right now. If the lateral movement bothers your shoulders and you need to take it to an overhead movement, you can do that as well, okay? All right, rest. We're gonna go into our tricep kickbacks next, okay? So I'm gonna do them standing this time. I'm just kind of pushing my hips back, bending my knees slightly, elbows close to the rib cage, and pull back. Talking to those muscles. All arm work in this circuit here that we're doing right now. Two and 1. Okay, rest. Next, we're going to go to bicep curls. All right. Here we go in 3, 2, and 1. Curl it up. Squeeze. After we're done this 30 seconds of bicep curls, we have one more round to go through of these 3 exercises, and then we move on to another Tabata. Two and 1. Okay, back to the top for the final time. We're going into those lateral raises, okay? And again, you can go into this alternative if this is more comfortable, okay? Here we go. All right, so if this hurts, what I'm doing right here, then try this, okay? All right, that's your alternative. Almost there. 2 and 1. Okay, going into our tricep kickbacks next, whether you're seated or standing. All right, we're just gonna lean forward there. All right, keep the elbows pulled up towards the rib cage and then extend, kick back. And time, okay, sit up or stand up straight. We're gonna go into bicep curls for the final time here, and then we're gonna move on. Okay, here we go, begin. Again, I'm talking to my biceps. I am actively telling them to contract and squeeze, right? Two and 1, good. Rest here, get a drink if you need it. We're gonna move back into another Tabata, okay? Another Tabata, which is our 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds transition time for 4 rounds, 2 exercises. And this, I'm gonna show you both, again, seated or standing options, okay? From a seated position, I am once again closer towards the edge of my chair, so I have some space between where I'm sitting and my knees are, okay? We're gonna do a lateral tap with a crossbody punch. Okay, so we're tap, tap. So we're getting good rotation here. We're opening up our hip flexors, punch, punch, okay? Punch, punch. We've got 20 seconds of that from a standing position. That's punch, crossbody. All right, you see that pivot and turn with that back foot, okay? So that's our first exercise. And then our second one is going to be sumo leg circles. So I'm gonna give you a couple options. If you're seated, you're still at the edge of your chair. It's like you're kind of stepping over, all right? Think of like a sumo wrestler, you're stepping over something. Okay, so you can do sumo leg circles from the standing position, okay? Circle, 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 okay? All right, so there are your two options there. So starting with our lateral tap and crossbody. I'm gonna start seated for the first round, then I'm gonna move to standing, okay? Here we go. In 3, 2, and 1, begin. We're going to tap and crossbody. Only going as far as your body will allow you to go, okay? I happen to notice for me, my left hip flexor is much more loose than my right one today, okay? All right, time. That's our first exercise. And we're going to those sumo leg circles. All right, seated or standing. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Okay, so working on hip mobility. This is also core work, all right? It takes effort to pick that leg up and swing it around. Still sitting up tall, and time. Okay, going into round 2. I'm going to go to standing now. Okay, so cross body punch and pivot and tap. All right, and begin. Here we go. Move at a pace that's good for you. You can put a little gusto behind that punch, like you mean it. Right. 2 and 1, okay? We're gonna go into the sumo leg circles next. In 3, 2, 1, here we go. Sweep the leg, okay? Even if you have to hold on to the side of something, you can do that if you need to. Or again, just go to that seated position. You actually feel this quite nicely from the seated position too. And time, sorry, making us go longer than we have to. All right, here we go. Round 3, cross body and tap, lateral tap. Here we go. Seated or standing. Throw the punch like you mean it. 2 and 1. Okay, going back to those sumo circles with the legs here. In 3, 2, and 1. Seated or standing. Sweep, sweep. Hopefully, by the time we're done our 4th round, you'll notice that your hips are opened up a little bit more. I'm starting to feel mine now. Mine feel a little more loose than they did on that first round. And time. Okay, we have one more round through, and then we're going to move back on to another 30-10. All right, so fists up, protecting our face. All right, here we go. And begin. Cross body, pivot and turn. Two and 1. Okay, sumo circle legs for the last time, and then we're going to go on to another 30-10. We got more strength exercises after this, and here we go. So how I've worked today's format is we have these 30-10s we're doing of strength exercises, our strength training, and then our Tabatas focus more on core and elevating our heart rate. Okay. 2 and 1. Okay. I've noticed for me in particular, this hip is much more loose than it was when we started. I'm glad that we did those today for that reason, because I feel that the blood flow is helping to make things loosen up and feel better. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is, whether you're seated or standing, a bicep curl with the knuckles out to the side. Okay. Curl, press. Curl, press. Okay, whether you're seated or standing, that's going to look the same. Okay, and then after that, the next 30 seconds, you can use dumbbells or body weight or hold on to the back of your chair, calf raises. All right, so just lifting and lowering onto our heels. Okay, I'm lifting up off my heels and back down. You could always stand behind your chair if you need a little support for balance, or these can be done from a seated position as well. Okay, and then the last one is our seated leg extension. Okay, so flex. All right, we're alternating those leg extensions to work on the top of the leg here. So you will need a chair for that final one if you're standing throughout these exercises. For the first round, I will go ahead and remain seated. We're starting with our curl to press, optional weights. Here we go. In 3, 2, and 1. Let's begin. So curl, press. It's like a 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. If you're seated, you're staying nice and tall. Okay. Think of the neck lengthening, the back lengthening, the core tight. Two and one. Okay. The next one here, you're either going to remain seated and do your heel raises from here, your calf raises from here, or you can do these standing. I'm going to stay seated for round 1. Here we go. Lift, lower. So not only are we working on the calf muscles right now, but we're also working on the ankle mobility. Okay, so muscle strength training and muscle flexibility are different than joint mobility. All right, your range of motion through a joint. They're all important. We need to think in terms of training all of that. 2 and 1. Okay, and then our last one is going to be our alternating leg extensions. So remember, when we do these guys, we're all seated for this one, and here we go. We flex the foot, so you really feel that engagement of the top of the thigh. All right, try to extend that knee nice and straight, and feel that squeeze on the top of the leg there. Still sitting up tall though. Don't round your back. Okay, just think of that marionette string holding you up nice and straight. That's going to keep your core nice and active. 5 more seconds here, and we're going to go back to the top. 2 and 1. Okay, back to the top. I'm going to go standing for this round. Remain seated if that's better for you. Our curl to press. Ready and begin. Curl, press, bring it back. That's it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're standing, you're keeping your core tight and you're also squeezing your glutes. Okay, that's going to help protect your lower back by keeping those glutes engaged. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, calf raises are next. Again, seated or standing. If you're standing, you want to hold on to the back of the chair, you can do that as well. 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. So we're going to come up on our toes and lower. Good. Two and 1. Okay, now we all sit down together here. Make sure you're closer towards the edge of your chair. We're going to do alternating leg extensions, keeping that foot flexed. Here we go. Squeeze. So we're squeezing the top of that. We feel that contraction in the top of the thigh. Okay, that's the quadricep. That's the muscle we're predominantly working when we're doing this. Trying to get a nice straight leg extension if you can, but you're not pushing your joints farther than they'll allow you. You're just working within the range they will. And once again, always sitting up nice and tall. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, one more round through. We're going to go back to our curl to press. You can do these seated, or you could join me standing here. whatever works best. And begin. Curl, press, bring it back, okay? So we're getting a bicep pull and a shoulder press. So shoulder push, really. Pull and a push, all in one. Nice compound movement here. Getting the shoulder joint and the elbow joint working together. And time. Okay, going to calf raises next, seated or standing. All right, with or without dumbbells or holding one on the back of a chair, and begin. So coming up on the toes and lowering. All right, we've got about 10 more seconds here. And time, okay, and then our last one is our seated leg extension. All right, so sitting towards the edge of your chair. All right, here we go, we're gonna alternate. Extend with a flex foot, and then switch. Sitting up nice and tall, okay, you wanna make sure you're not down like this, right? You don't wanna be like this, you wanna make sure you're right here. All right, make those core muscles work. And sit up nice and tall. Two and one. All right, guys, we are on to our last Tabata. And I'm going to show you your seated and standing options. And you can get a drink here while I'm doing that. Our star crossover, we've been doing from the seated position. So it's like opposite elbow to opposite knee. All right, nice oblique exercise here. And we're lifting that knee raise, okay? From a standing position, we've got, okay? If you feel comfortable, you can hold on to a light pair of dumbbells here. Wouldn't go real heavy, 5 pounds, might be a little heavy on that one, but if you have lighter ones, you might feel comfortable. And then we are pairing that with a modified jumping jack. Okay, so tap, 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 okay? You can do full-blown jumping jacks if you feel good with doing that. I'm not opposed to that, but I'm gonna do the modified throughout this routine here, okay? From a seated position, I am still once again on the edge of my chair. Tap, 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 okay? All right, so I'm gonna do the first round seated, and then I'm gonna go to standing, okay? So we're doing this crossover, that opposite elbow to opposite knee. All right, so whether you're standing or seated, we're nice and tall with our posture. Here we go, in 3, 2, and 1, begin. Cross. Working on the obliques. 2 and 1. Okay, we're going into modified jumping jacks here, or regular jumping jacks if you're feeling pretty strong here. Ready and begin. Three, 2, and 1. Okay, top of round 2. I'm going to move to a standing position for the rest of these rounds now. Start crossover crunch. Please remain seated if that's better for you. Here we go. Two and 1, okay. Going back to our modified jumping jacks. In 3, 2, and 1, here we go. 2, and 1. Okay, back to our crossover crunches. In 3, 2, and 1. Opposite elbow to knee. Only go within your range. My range right now is a little short. Again, I think I told you guys I had some hernia surgery up here, up in this area. So I don't have a very large range of motion right now. All right, let's rest. We're going to go back into jumping jacks. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Jack, jack. So just always take into consideration how your body feels, you know, and listen to it, knowing when to push and when to pull back. That's the important part. Sometimes knowing, like right now, my shoulders are burning as I keep on lifting them up over my head like this, and rest. But I know I can push through that pain. That burn is just muscle working. It's not pain, like I'm getting hurt, right? You got to understand the difference. Okay, back to our crossovers. Yeah, so for me personally, I know I usually can twist further than this, but that's not going, you know, right now it's not a good time for me to try to do that, okay? All right, rest, going back to our jacks again. And this is already our last round. Me talking for a minute, go fast. Here we go. Jack. You could always bring your arms up halfway. 2, and 1. All right, guys, let's go ahead and stretch out here. Okay, we're gonna do a couple stretches. Let's go ahead and sit down. We're gonna start with a neck and trap stretch. So I'm just going to grab onto the side of my head here. I'm gonna take my opposite arm, pull down, and just feel this stretch through the side of my neck here. And breathe. Inhale and exhale. Again. 3, let's go for 5 breaths. 4, and 5, and then just gently, gently, gently come out of that. We've got to even out. Okay, so I'm applying a little pressure to the side of my head as I pull it, and then I'm pressing down with my opposite hand. Okay, and we're just going to breathe for 5 breaths. Inhale, exhale. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Let's go ahead and take our hands and place them on the small of our back and just pull our shoulder blades together and lift our chest to ceiling, okay? And feeling the opening of the chest and the shoulders there. Put your head wherever it's comfortable. If it hurts to look up, you can look straight too, okay? Just, you really want to feel the stretch through the front of the shoulders and the opening in the chest. Good. And relax. And then let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and do a lateral bend. So I'm going to take one arm, bring it up. I'm going to pull it over. I'm going to kind of get those fingertips in line with where the wall and the ceiling meet. And then I'm going to, if you want, you can stay like that, or you can take your opposite hand and kind of pull it up and feel that stretch intensify a little bit. And you should feel it all along the side that's bent over right here. Okay. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, exhale, one more breath. Inhale and exhale. Good, so we're gonna switch sides. Okay, so I'm gonna take that arm, bring it up. We're gonna take those fingertips to where the wall and the ceiling meet. You can stay right here just like that, or you can go ahead and grab onto that arm a little bit and just kind of pull it gently. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and inhale, and exhale. Good. All right, final stretch. We're going to go into my favorite stretch here, and that is where we Go ahead and stretch the hip flexor and groin area. Okay, so I'm on the edge of my chair. One knee is bent. The leg that I'm stretching is the one that is extended straight, okay? And I'm just kind of leaning and reaching around, trying to feel where I feel that opening of the hip the best, okay? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And one more. Inhale. And exhale. All right, gently come out of that. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing other side, still on the edge of my seat here, so I have some room to go ahead and now stretch that leg, okay? Again, this is my tighter side today, so I can already feel just at the start, it doesn't take much for me to feel that this side is tight. And like I always say, it's normal, you know, some imbalances of tightness and on one side versus the other, strength and weakness on one side or the other are not uncommon. We're not always symmetrical in everything we do in life. Good. And then come out of that. Let's just go ahead, lift our arms up. All right, bring the palms together and then bring them down to the heart and center. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale as you bring them down to center. And one more, inhale up. And exhale, down to center. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's workout. I felt like
Hi, everyone. This is Z from Yonkers Public Library. Thanks so much to Sally Pinto and Alexis and Barbara from Newark. Thank you to our community partners, WJCS, the City of Yonkers Office for the Aging, Westchester County Legislator Ruth Walter, Friends of Crestwood Library, and Yonkers Public Library for making this phenomenal partnership. And we thank each and every one of you for being part of our wellness community. Be well, stay well.